Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Young and the Restless Thursday, February 20th recap. Phyllis disappearance investigated, Billy gets an SOS. The Young and the Restless YNR recap for Thursday, February 20th, reveals that Phyllis Summers' Michelle Stafford disappearance will be investigated, so Billy Abbott Jason Thompson will get an SOS in Paris. After Billy and Sally Spectra Courtney Hope return from the bistro, they get ready to nap and spend some time between the sheets. Back in Genoa City, Daniel Romalotti Jr. Michael Graziadei and Summer Newman Allison Lanier will grow increasingly concerned over Phyllis' vanishing act. Summer and Daniel still want to be able to get in touch with Phyllis, who want to show up for the family breakfast she pushed for. Daniel will call Billy to see if he's heard from Phyllis, so Billy will mention Phyllis reaching out earlier with updates on Daniel taking the job. There was nothing out of the ordinary to Billy since Phyllis seemed fine and was excited about Daniel joining the team. After Billy reminds Daniel that Phyllis is spontaneous, he'll throw out some ideas on where she might be, including a last-minute Chicago trip or even a date. Daniel will think they know if Phyllis was dating anyone and will struggle to believe she'd willingly let them worry like this. Summer will have concerns as well and wish she'd taken Daniel's concerns more seriously last night. After Billy disconnects from Daniel, he'll leave Phyllis a voicemail pushing her to call her kids since they're worried about her. Billy will also urge Phyllis to text him when she gets his message. Sally will sense that Billy's concerned too and will wonder if he wants to head back to Genoa City. Billy will argue that Phyllis would probably be found by the time his flight landed. Besides, Billy will want to enjoy his last night in Paris with Sally, so he'll insist on staying put with her. Once Summer calls Chancellor Connor Floyd over to the GCAC, he'll find out Phyllis is missing. Summer will ask Chance to help track Phyllis down since it'd be a good step toward making up for everything he put Daniel through. While Chance agrees to look into Phyllis' disappearance, Amy Lewis Valerie Pettiford will have some news for Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic and Audra Charles Zulika Silver across town. Since Amy will assume Damian Kane Jermaine Rivers went back to Los Angeles, she'll suggest that maybe it's time for her to head home, too. Audra will pipe up about Holden Novak Nathan Owens reaching out with a lunch offer and will suggest he might be the way to get through to Damian. Nate will urge Amy to let Audra dazzle Holden just as long as Audra doesn't let Holden dazzle her in return. Audra will assure Nate that it's not possible and continue to pretend she has no prior connection to Holden. The episode of The Young and the Restless on Thursday, February 20th, took viewers deeper into the mystery of Phyllis Summers' sudden disappearance. Tensions were high, secrets lurked in the shadows, and characters found themselves at the center of a gripping investigation. With danger looming, alliances formed, and suspicions rose. The day began with the shocking news that Phyllis was nowhere to be found. Her sudden absence was a jarring twist, particularly after all the drama she had stirred up recently. Phyllis had always been known for her dramatic entrances and exits, but her sudden disappearance felt different this time, more ominous. As the scene unfolded, viewers watched as the people closest to her tried to piece together the puzzle of her whereabouts, their actions guided by a mix of concern, guilt, and, perhaps, a little fear. Phyllis' family, especially her daughter Summer, was frantic. Summer, who had already been facing a storm of personal challenges, now found herself thrust into the center of a true-life mystery. Was her mother in danger, or had she staged her own disappearance for reasons unknown? Summer's anxiety was palpable as she turned to Kyle for support. As the couple rallied together to figure out what had happened, their relationship was put to the test. The uncertainty surrounding Phyllis' fate made it even harder for them to hold on to their bond as they wondered whether they could trust the people around them. At the same time, Jack Abbott was doing his best to hold it together, though his concern for Phyllis was unmistakable. As he worked to contact anyone who might have information about her, he began to reflect on the complicated history he shared with her. Their love had been turbulent, but it was clear that deep down, Jack still cared for Phyllis. His mind raced with possibilities. Had someone hurt her, or had she been planning something in secret that had now gone awry? Despite all his connections and influence, Jack found himself feeling powerless, which only intensified the urgency of the investigation. Meanwhile, Billy Abbott received an unexpected message that would change the course of his day. He had been keeping a low profile as he tried to repair his relationship with Lily, but Billy's world was about to be turned upside down. The message, a cryptic SOS, came from someone close to Phyllis. The urgency was unmistakable, and Billy had no choice but to follow the trail, despite not having all the answers. This message would lead him on a path that would not only raise questions about Phyllis' disappearance but also stir up old conflicts. Billy's history with Phyllis was as complicated as any. The two had shared an intense, fiery connection that had been marked by both passion and betrayal. With Phyllis' vanishing act, Billy knew that he couldn't stay on the sidelines. His connection to her was personal, and now, the mystery of where she had gone would force him to confront the past while navigating a labyrinth of uncertainties. Billy began retracing Phyllis' steps, trying to figure out where she had been in the days leading up to her disappearance. It wasn't long before he discovered that there were several people who may have had a reason to want her out of the picture. At the same time, the investigation was picking up steam as the authorities got involved. Detective Chavez, ever the professional, began to search for any clue that might lead to Phyllis. But even he, with all his experience, found himself stumped. Phyllis was no stranger to making waves, but this time, something felt off. Had she been taken, or was she hiding somewhere, unwilling to let anyone find her? The detective had few leads but remained determined to uncover the truth. As the hours passed, it became increasingly clear that no one was quite as innocent as they seemed. As the plot thickened, the investigation began to reveal unexpected connections between Phyllis' disappearance and some of Genoa City's most well-known residents. Could one of Phyllis' enemies have played a role in her vanishing, or was it someone even closer to her? Each interaction felt charged with hidden motives, and viewers couldn't help but wonder who could be trusted. Meanwhile, Sharon Newman found herself caught in the middle. As a close friend of Phyllis, Sharon was pulled in to help search for answers. But Sharon also had her own complicated relationship with Phyllis, an alliance built on years of rivalry, forgiveness, and shared moments of vulnerability. Sharon knew Phyllis better than most, and as the investigation unraveled, it became clear that Phyllis wasn't just a woman with many enemies. She was someone with a dangerous secret that could come to light. Sharon, as always, was caught between trying to do what was right for her friend and protecting herself from the fallout of whatever might come next. In the midst of the chaos, Lily Winters and Devon Hamilton found themselves reflecting on the events surrounding Phyllis' disappearance. As a power couple, they were determined to keep their personal lives in check, but the developments surrounding Phyllis soon made that impossible. Could someone in their inner circle be hiding something? As tensions in Genoa City simmered, it was clear that secrets were buried everywhere. The deeper they dug, the more questions emerged about Phyllis' life and, perhaps, about the lives of those closest to her. With each passing minute, the mystery surrounding Phyllis' disappearance deepened. Was she in danger? Was someone plotting against her, or had she set the stage for something dramatic? All signs pointed to a plot far bigger than anyone had anticipated, and the investigation had only just begun. As Billy continued to follow the cryptic SOS message, he found himself trapped in a whirlwind of old memories and new dangers. Would he be able to find Phyllis before it was too late, or was the truth even darker than anyone could imagine? The episode ended on a cliffhanger, leaving fans on the edge of their seats. Phyllis' fate hung in the balance, and the people of Genoa City were left to wonder just how far someone might be willing to go to keep their secrets hidden. With alliances shifting, tempers flaring, and trust being questioned, it was clear that Phyllis' disappearance would have far-reaching consequences for everyone involved. As viewers waited for the next installment, they couldn't help but speculate on what would happen next. Would Phyllis be found, or would her disappearance remain unsolved? The only certainty was that, in Genoa City, nothing was ever as simple as it seemed. And as the mystery unfolded, even more shocking twists and turns were bound to emerge.